All right, Maurice, how are you doing? It's been some time since we talked. How's been training camp so far?
It's going good.
You know, last time we spoke, it was shortly after you won the world title. You said you were living a dream come true, but it still didn't really hit you at the time that you are the world champion. Now that you've held the title for a few months now, has your everyday life been any different at all? Because you're no longer just a contender or an up and coming star. You are finally the world champion.
It's been going the same. I feel like I'm not a world champion until I have at least one defense. That will come November the 16th.
You know, for so long you've been a guy that's been chasing the title, and now you went to England, you beat Terry Flanagan, and now that you're the champion, you're going to have a target on your back. Has there been a different mindset or a mental preparation that you have had to go through in this training camp now that you're the champion instead of the challenger?
No, I still the same mindset. I still want to be the best, and I want to fight the best, and I'm just training to be the best. So nothing haven't changed. And I'm a world champion, but it's more belts out there to get. It's not over yet.
You're fighting on ESPN, national audience, and it's your first title defense. With your last fight being in England, and maybe not as many people here in the States were able to see you or had a chance to see you, do you kind of look at this particular fight against an exciting fighter in Alex Saucedo and think that, this is your first real showcase in front of the biggest audience possible on ESPN?
Yes, I agree. I feel like this is my debut 2 years, say. Fighting on TV on ESPN, I know everybody around the world gonna be watching it. So I'm just going there and do my best and be Alex Saucedo.
Moving on to the fight itself, Alex is coming off of this wild fight against Lenny Sapavigna. Did you get a chance to see that fight? And if so, what do you make of Alex as a fighter?
He's a good fighter. He have a lot of pressure, don't have no defense, and it's just another fighter, who have a heart. And I'm gonna take it away from him come November 16th.
You mentioned him having no defense, and he is a guy that is prone to getting hit. He's prone to getting cut. Do you feel that those two things, plus your experience advantage in big fights, are going to be the deciding factors that would result in your victory?
Yes. I think everything going to play out my way come November 16th. I think they don't have to stop the fight because his eye or something. He's going to be bleeding bad. And, it's just going to go my way, I'm ready. I'm more than ready for it. So I can't wait.
Terry, when you fought Terry, comparing to Alex, Terry is this completely different fighter. He's a more technically sound fighter than Alex. He's, not a guy that, throws as many wall punches as Alex may have thrown in the past, and Flanagan is a southpaw and Alex is not. Looking at kind of both of those styles, you feel like you perform better against someone like Terry Flanagan or against someone like Alex Saucedo?
I'm going to go with Alex Saucedo because he going to deliver himself to me. He coming forward. He going to run right into my punches. And Terry Flanagan, I have to go to him sometimes, use my jab, get behind my jab. But with Alex Saucedo, it's going to be right in my face, easy to hit. Like a moving punching bag.
When you're looking at this fight, and do you believe that this is a fight that would result in a knockout with how much Alex likes to come forward and attack, or do you think that this is the type of fight where it's gonna go the distance?
I think it's gonna be a knockout. I know the guy. He training real hard. I'm training hard. It's gonna be a good fight, but it's gonna end as a knockout, And I'm ready for make his dream become a nightmare real fast. I'm gonna show him there's levels to this. He not ready for me. The last guy he fought, who hurt him, in like the third or fourth round. He was a short guy. he was a veteran, been in the game a long time. He wasn't fresh. But now he fighting me. I got power, just like he got power. I got power on both ends. And when I'm hurt, I'm going to get him out of there.
You know, you are one of the champions at 140 pounds, and 140 pounds is a very, very stacked division. You have a litany of fighters who are champions competing in the World Boxing Super Series, other champions who are not. You know, when you look at the division overall, I guess after this fight, if you do emerge victorious, if you had your pick of any of the other champions or top contenders, who would you want to face if you retain your belt on November 16?
Right now, I'm not looking past Alex Saucedo, so I'm not really thinking about it. But I just want to fight the best. But first, I gotta get past Alex Saucedo.
You know, a while back, you were on the press conference for The Zone as one of the fighters who could potentially fight on the streaming service. Obviously, this fight is not on The Zone, but on ESPN. But since that press conference, you know, The Zone has signed Canelo Alvarez to this massive contract. And what do you make of Canelo Alvarez signing with The Zone? And what do you make of The Zone's progress thus far?
I think The Zone's doing good right now. You know, I have a chance to fight on The Zone, probably under Canelo card or any other guy, Danny Jacobs, or all them good guys out there with The Zone. You know, I can fight here in the USA or I can fight overseas. So, you know, I like The Zone. I mean, I think it's taking over.
Lastly, obviously, you know, you're from Texas and Alex is from Oklahoma City. There's been some, you know, kind of excitement, not just on the fight itself, because on paper it is a very exciting fight, but also because of the sports rivalry between Texas and Oklahoma. Do you kind of look at that and kind of think to yourself that, you know, it is a very nice thing, kind of a nice little story to put onto this fight? Do you think that it's going to lend to a more exciting crowd and a more exciting atmosphere come November 16?
Oh yeah, you know, Texas always beat Oklahoma. You know, we always come out on top, and just like November 16th, we'll come out on top that night. You know, it's a big rivalry. You know, and everybody excited for it in Texas. I'm excited, and we ready.
You know, Maurice, I know you're busy with your training camp, and thank you so much for taking time away from your busy schedule to talk to me. Best of luck on November 16, and looking forward to seeing you in the ring.
All right, thank you.